Hey big kids, hope you're enjoying playing with samatha, shamatha, calm abiding, focus concentration, anapana. This meditative technique goes by many different names and there are different variations of it, but it's like learning how to stop, slow down, focus, get focus, concentration. It's the space holder for the insight bits of the practice and exploring the practice. It's a lubricant for riding the wave of strange phenomenon. It's a way to calm our nervous system in a time and day and age when it is constantly being bombarded. And to sit with our nervous system and our sensory system. So super cool practice. And you may be noticing this week as you're exploring it all sorts of things about yourself. Like if you think of it as a tool, we can think of tools as being utilitarian in their nature, and we're just going to like use this tool to get at this. But you could also think of it more creatively, spontaneously. Every facet of your life can be enhanced by the meditative process. So it is just as much an art as it is a skill. So you want your tools to not just be utilitarian in nature, but also playful, like an artist would have a tool of or a painter would have a tool of a paintbrush, colors. So if we think of meditation as a tool to help us develop and foster creativity and spontaneity and deep wisdom to know thyself, how thy sensory system works. Know thy sensory system is what I would say about that one. Know thy sensory system, including the habit pattern grooves of the mind, the default network mode, and our cravings and reactions and our aversion to anicca, impermanence and change and flow and so many things. So this week we're like learning we're getting a piece of the puzzle unfolded layer after layer in this course. But this week we're learning, this piece of the puzzle sets container safety for freedom, exploration, growth. You have to have freedom. You have to have safety. There's safety in container, and then you can play, and then you can practice, and then you can explore. And so there's many different ways to explore creatively. I gave you a Dharma talk teaching to listen to. There are a few different ways you can play with a Dharma talk, a wisdom teaching, a wisdom talk. It's like a roadmap talk or a talk to inspire you, or a talk to like put the pieces of the puzzle in your brain as to how this universal thing of meditation and human experiencing works. So you can navigate it more smoothly and more effortlessly. And with the Dharma talk, you can explore it either by putting the Dharma talk in the foreground and pouring all of your attention on it. Like here out, you'll learn in the next session that we play in the sensory system land, Vipassana, deconstruction, sensory system, insight, producing practices, see, hear, feel, sensory system. So you can pour all of your attention on it, outward, exteroception, and then you can also notice all of the interoception that's going on as the words land, the gaps and spaces in between the words, how feelings or thoughts are being evoked as you listen to it. And we're not looking for anything, or we're not trying to manipulate anything, or we're not trying to push anything away that arises. We just notice, thought has arisen about that talk. I don't have to go down the story of the rabbit hole story. I just know, sensory system has been pinged and turned on. And you pay attention to the richness and the nuance and the depth and the wisdom that's coming out of that talk. And that helps you unpack the nuance, the subtle. I always tell you, and this subtle is significant. My teachers have taught me. Subtle is significant, and things you're getting subtler and subtler. And we think that it's nominal or marginal, the subtle, but not so much. So you can put all of your attention in the forefront on a Dharma talk like that. and just absorb it in every way, shape, or form in your inner and outer system, in exteroception and interoception. Or you can put it in the background, like you do music while you're driving in the car to work, because you're like, I'm going to do my 10-minute practice. Just listen to it in the background as I'm driving to work. And it's going to be, most of my attention is on the road. And maybe I do a little feel rest and I listen to this Dharma talk in the background. Whatever, it doesn't matter how you listen to it. You can full on meditate and just let it be in the background, and you will absorb it. In many ways, shapes, and forms we're absorbing already, right, at the unconscious level. So much we're absorbing at the unconscious level. At least we can start absorbing things that are fruitful, helpful, right? And it's a 2-for-1 while you're driving in your car. And I'm curious about what you're noticing about this Feel Rest practice as you go through this week. Because Feel Rest, Shamatha, Calm Abiding, this focused concentration practice, is one that helps us understand at the basic level how much static or resistance is in the system, how open or closed we are to the experience that's going on, to being with it, sitting with it, welcoming it, noticing it, acknowledging the reality of it, and potentially metabolizing it, learning from it. Because in that gripping, in that holding, we waste a lot of energy. We waste all our creativity and spontaneity reserves. So instead of looking in that moment for what could be creative alternative or option or dimension that we're not seeing, or a spontaneous opportunity, we miss, right? Have you noticed that all the time? You're like, shit, that was actually an opportunity, or I didn't think about that, right? And that's how this process works at first. You're going to notice after the fact. Eckhart Tolle, I can't remember if it was in one of his books, Power Now, or the other one, but he was talking about if you're trying to work on something like road rage or just paying attention to your sensory system, you're going to notice often after the fact of things you didn't notice, right? So then we progress from there, and it starts to become more accessible, readily available at our fingertips, that this awareness dimension has opened up. And then we're like, oh, I didn't think about that, but I'm still in the moment. It's not tomorrow or the next day when I'm ruminating and in the past thinking about it, reliving it, right? And then that process gets more subtler and broader, and you get more adept at it and access to it. And that's how this practice changes your life in everyday world, in daily life. So it's about cross-training and playing with this practice in the waking moments of your life, not just in the meditative on the cushion moments of your life, but in the waking moments. And noticing, I often inquire and notice a few things randomly, maybe at the end of the sit, or periodically through the middle of my meditation. What have I not noticed yet? What have I not noticed? What's here that I haven't noticed? Or am I open or close to this experience? And you don't have to do anything with the noticing what you didn't notice, or with whether you're open or closed. You're just noticing like the valence. You're noticing the hedonic notes. And then you just do nothing. It's in the noticing that the chain breaks. It's in the noticing that the moment arises for insight, or for a break in the chain of old school thinking. And we think it has to be, the problem is solved. I have changed this big thing, but it's again subtle, significant. It's those moments, honoring and noticing. And it is the inception point. So as you play with this practice, I hope you treat it like not just a utilitarian tool, but a playground. You're an artist, and it is unfolding in you. It's an experiential wisdom art process. This is the skill and the art, I say, of meditation, the skill and the art of awakening, peeling off the layers, playing. opening up the bandwidth for yourself, liberating yourself from stored energy and old tired fucking habit patterns, right? That are like blah, boring, but feel so important in the moment. And aren't even right most of the time, aren't even the most skill. And when I say right, I mean the most skillful way to take you. It's like we're always reacting. This teaches us skillful means to take an action that is what does this moment need right now kind of action. Like what does this moment really, what is it asking of me in this moment right now? What's being asked of me in a way that's skillful, that if I needed to take action, okay, then I would take some kind of skillful action. But maybe nothing's being asked of me, but I just have this habit momentum pattern of always fucking doing and fixing and going, and right? That I can just stop and feel that momentum, have an energy just rumble up and out, and then it's like shamatha kalma biting. Oh, like, oh, can I relax and let that furl through and be with this moment? So curious about what's coming up in your practice this week as you explore this. And yeah, we'll see you in a few days.